Good morning and welcome to KJTV News. We're bringing you the latest updates on the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. In a significant development, 3 Israeli hostages have been released from captivity in Gaza following weeks of tense negotiations. The hostages, identified as Yarl, 46, Sogwi Dekulchen, 36, and Alexander Sasha Trufanov, 29, were handed over to the International Red Cross earlier today. Hamas paraded the trio before a gathered crowd before their transfer, marking the latest exchange under the ongoing ceasefire agreement. In return, Israel is set to release 369 Palestinian prisoners. According to the Hamas-linked Prisoners Information Office, 36 of the released prisoners were serving life sentences. Among them is Ahmed Barghouti, a close associate of prominent Palestinian leader Marwan Barghouti. Ahmed Barghouti had been serving a life sentence for his role in organizing attacks during the Second Intifada. This marks the 6th prisoner swap since the ceasefire took effect on January 19th. So far, a total of 21 hostages and over 730 Palestinian prisoners have been released under the deal. The 3 hostages freed today were taken from Kibbutz Nir Oz during the Hamas-led attack on October 7, 2023. Yarl, an Israeli-Argentinian citizen, was abducted alongside his brother, Eitan Horn, who remains in captivity. Sogwi Dekulchen, an Israeli-American, was taken while working outside. His wife, who hid in a safe room with their children, gave birth to their 3rd daughter 2 months later. Alexander Sasha Trufanov, who holds Israeli and Russian citizenship, was taken along with his mother, grandmother, and girlfriend. The 3 women were released in a previous exchange, but his father was killed in the attack. Israeli officials have confirmed that while the hostages appear to be in stable condition, medical examinations are ongoing. The ceasefire agreement has faced multiple challenges. Hamas previously delayed hostage releases, accusing Israel of failing to provide sufficient humanitarian aid, including medical supplies and shelters for displaced Palestinians. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who warned that if Hamas did not uphold its end of the agreement, the ceasefire would end and military operations would resume. While today's exchange has helped maintain the fragile truce, the long-term future of the ceasefire remains uncertain. The first phase of the deal is set to conclude in early March, with no clear agreements yet on the next phase. Hamas has signaled reluctance to release more hostages unless it receives assurances that the war will not resume. Adding to the uncertainty, US President Donald Trump has proposed a plan for the United States to take control of Gaza and redevelop it as the Riviera of the Middle East. The proposal, which includes relocating Gaza's population to other areas in the region, has been welcomed by Israel's government but strongly condemned by international organizations, which argue that forced displacement could be considered a war crime. Netanyahu's far-right allies have called for a return to military action once the first phase of the truce ends, with the goal of completely eliminating Hamas and implementing Trump's vision for Gaza's future. As tensions remain high, all eyes are on the upcoming negotiations. Will Hamas continue releasing hostages? Will Israel uphold its end of the deal? And what impact will Trump's proposal have on the region? Stay tuned to KJTV News for continuous updates on this developing story. And let's go in us, where an 86-year-old man in Kansas City, Missouri, has pleaded guilty to second-degree assault in the shooting of 16-year-old Ralph Yarl, a black teenager who mistakenly went to the wrong house. The case gained national attention and sparked protests over racial injustice and gun violence. Andrew Lester, the shooter, agreed to a plea deal ahead of his scheduled trial. Under the deal, he now faces a maximum of 7 years in prison instead of life, which he could have received if convicted at trial. His sentencing is set for March 7th. The shooting occurred in April 2023, when Ralph was sent to pick up his younger brothers. He accidentally went to the wrong address confusing Northeast 115th Street with Northeast 115th Terrace. When he rang the doorbell, Lester, without exchanging any words, fired 2 shots through his glass door, hitting Ralph in the forehead and arm. Despite his injuries, Ralph managed to flee and sought help from nearby homes. He survived the attack but endured a difficult recovery. The case ignited outrage, with many arguing that Ralph's race played a significant role in Lester's reaction. Although authorities initially stated there was a racial component to the shooting, they ultimately decided not to file hate crime charges against Lester. Lester and his defense team claimed that he acted in self-defense, believing Ralph was attempting to break into his home. Initially, Lester pleaded not guilty to charges of assault and armed criminal action. However, under the plea agreement, he admitted guilt to the lesser charge of second-degree assault. The shooting sparked widespread protests in Kansas City and beyond, with activists and civil rights advocates demanding justice. Celebrities such as Halle Berry, Kerry Washington, and Jennifer Hudson voiced their support for Ralph and called for legal action. Critics also pointed to the case as an example of the dangers of stand-your-ground laws, which allow individuals to use deadly force if they feel threatened. At first, police detained Lester for questioning but released him without charges, fueling public anger. He later surrendered after an arrest warrant was issued. Ralph, who has since graduated from high school, is expected to deliver a victim impact statement during Lester's sentencing. His family has expressed hope that the court will impose a sentence that reflects the severity of the crime and serves as a deterrent against similar incidents in the future. This case is one of several instances in 2023 where minor mistakes, such as going to the wrong house or driveway, resulted in gun violence. It has reignited conversations about gun laws, self-defense claims, and racial bias in the United States. Stay tuned to KJTV News for continued coverage and updates on this case. And thank you for watching and subscribe to keep updated.